2, 1.
What's up, everybody? This is your host, AC Slater. Listen to another episode of that damn podcast, that DC Anime and Marvel podcast. And I'm back again with my co-host and a special co-host, a guest today. Say what's up to the people.
What is going on, guys? Technical difficulties, Nick Mal, TECH-NICKAL. If you are interested in Metal Gear Solid, I am restreaming the entire series over on my channel, over on Twitch and YouTube. Come check me out on over there, and I will see you there.
What's up, everybody? This is your guy, Ali Baba, here with the games, anime, and Marvel. And we have our special guest tonight. Say what's up, Caleb.
Yo, it's Caleb Gordon Kilgore, filmmaker and background production assistant. What's up, y'all?
And as always, if you are crazy and attractors, this is Mike, as you well know, is Drive Fitness Lifestyle. If you're into fitness, sports, or information shown in the background of anime, DC, or Marvel characters, or even you needed some tailored meal plans or calorie deficit meal plans, calorie surplus, that's that nature, don't hesitate to check out the about page of my channel as I show you all those good topics, as well as how to get fit for this year that it's almost over. So don't be afraid to check out the about page of my channel on Instagram, Facebook, as well as YouTube. And with all that being said, let's get into it.
All right. First things first, how you guys doing tonight?
Awesome.
Chilling.
Pretty good.
All right. So we have a very special episode tonight. All right. So first off, before we do our regular show, we're actually gonna get a special interview. All right, with our guest here. All right, and we're gonna have Ali. Go ahead and take that floor right there. But we got a special interview, and we're gonna be asking questions about it. But this is gonna be really big, and it's really great that you're here with us. All right.
Hey,
Cool. So, Caleb, give us a little bit of your accolades, like the things the projects you worked on. Um, if you have any like side projects that you've been doing, any awards that you've won. Just let us know what your repertoire is in the film industry.
I mean, I don't know, man. I've been all over the place since I've been down here in Georgia. I've mostly worked as a production assistant on professional movie sets. Man, I mean, I can't even think. Let me go to my IMDb so I can see the things I've been in. I've been in so many. They Clone Tyrone.
You worked on They Clone Tyrone?
Yeah. I was I was there the whole time. This was during COVID, so we were sequestered. We were all like, well, I was the only one who wasn't able to be sequestered, but everybody was like in a hotel bonding while I was at home by myself. But it was still a good time. It was one of the best movies I ever worked on, actually. I worked on Echo, Ironheart, Superman. Man, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Okay. Hey, that sounds like some good titles. Now, you know that we here at the D.A.M Empire, we are focused on the DC anime, Marvel, and video games. So you said that you worked on Superman. Tell us about the Superman set, like what parts you worked on, what's your thoughts about the movie, some different things that you like, and like some behind the scenes. And I know you said that you had some pictures, so if you want to show some pictures, just go ahead and do so.
I'll have to do the pictures next time once I get the permission from my friends. So, the main scene that I worked on was the Jock Empyrean stuff. And I wasn't able to follow the production because they were in Georgia and then they went to Cleveland, Ohio to film the rest of the movie, but I wasn't able to join because I had to go and get married.
Hey.
Okay,
congrats.
That's correct.
I mean, yeah.
You don't sound too thrilled.
That's what's up.
I mean, I'm happy. I mean, me and my wife, we've been together our whole lives. Like we've known each other since we were like essentially babies, and I already felt married. So really, what we did, it was just the ritual of getting married. So I didn't fully, I mean, I'm glad we did it, but I wasn't able to join the crew on like the really cool stuff. I was only able to do the Jar Hyperion stuff, and then oh Mr. Terrific. Some of the like the whatever his mobile is called was like the T-mobile.
No, T Speed. Yeah,
T-Sphere,
T-Mobile.
like a T-Sphere mobile, I guess. Yeah, I was there for that kind of stuff. Yeah, and the Jar Hyperion stuff, we shot it in a. Somebody told me it was like some kind of like abandoned salt mine or something, some geological, like man-made geological, like tragic event happened there where it was just white sand and it was over 100-degree weather, and it was the hardest, most hot, most testing days I've ever had on set in my life. Like I got like 3 shades darker being on that set. It
That's
was
crazy.
hot every single day. We had like over 100 extras every single day. Dressed, I don't know, you guys seen the movie. So
Yeah.
I'm forgetting. Okay, so there's the Jar Hyperions, and then what's the name of the other group? I'm forgetting the name. Like the really big military group. Do you guys remember what that group was?
I have to look it up.
We're talking the military faction from the Superman movie, or
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from the movie. Like they were the ones like invading Jarhamper.
oh, the Bavarians, I think they were called.
I think
Sure.
so.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That sounds right. But like you've seen the movie where those guys were head to toe in tactical gear, and so just imagine being in like actual tactical gear, head to toe, full. Your whole body is covered.
Oh God, those
100
poor
degree weather.
bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over. over.
Those guys got
Like.
they got a little bit of that actual military experience for all 5 minutes.
Oh no. So, I mean, well, yeah. I don't know. It was just a lot of walking with weapons. Um, and we had people like passing out, dehydrated, people having to
Mm.
be carried off the set. But it was like a rotating, like we had some people on standby, right? We had people like in the shade, and then when somebody went down, we had another person replacing them. It was like a machine. It worked like a machine. It was very smooth, and luckily there wasn't any riots because my goodness, that was incredibly hard. It was. I've never done anything that hard on set, no. But it was really fun. It was really chill. Um, yeah, James Gunn has a well, I'll say this in general, just on set, the tone for the set is really established from by the director and the leadership, and he was
Mm.
able to keep everybody happy essentially. And in fact, he played that song "Happy." What's the song? Cause I'm happy. That song.
Yeah.
He played
Wow,
that
for real?
quite a lot. Yeah. Um, he played that while we were shooting. They were shooting the Superman stuff when they were like Superman, Superman. They thought Superman was coming. Um, yeah, so he was able to keep it civil because I like on another set I can see it getting out of control real fast and people just leaving set because that's happened to me a lot before
Oh,
working as a background production assistant. It's happened.
mm.
Mm.
You're going one day with like 50 people and leave the day with 30 people. So it was a miracle. It tells you what kind of leader he is.
Out of
That's pretty
curiosity, how
cool.
did you get into this line of work anyway? What got you started?
Well, I came to Georgia because I am a filmmaker, and at the time, film was really booming in Georgia. So I decided to move from Michigan to Georgia, and I didn't know anybody, so it was quite sad in the beginning. But then I was able to get on set as a background performer, and then I was able to, just meet people behind the scenes, and they saw that I was reliable. I showed up to set, and I did what I needed to do, and mostly I wasn't complaining the whole time. So After some years, somebody gave me a shot. Who was it? Oh, there's a movie called First Man. It's directed by uh, the same person that made Whiplash and La La Land. What's his name? Yeah, the Boy Wonder, the Wonderkind. What is his name? Youngest,
Mm.
the Wonderkind. Anyway, um, yeah, on the set of First Man, somebody finally gave me a shot to actually come and work on a professional set as a production assistant, and yeah, from there I just kept getting connections and meeting people, and I built up my repertoire, and yeah, and they just kept calling me back, and ever since, but now the film industry is pretty slow, and that's a whole other topic. But yeah, that's how I got into it, and at the same time, I've just been shooting my own shorts, music videos, and things like that.
I think his name is Damien Chazelle. um,
Man, I can't
so
believe I'm forgetting his name, but yeah, that's the Wunderkind, man. Youngest director to ever win Best Director at the Oscars. Damien
nice.
Chazelle. There we go. Damien Chazelle.
Okay.
Okay.
It's my boy.
Yeah. So hey, that's cool that they gave you a shot so they could get you into your foot into the door to actually be able to work behind the scenes a little bit more.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, it's been a
So
long road. Yeah.
hey, yeah, you can't start at the king seat. That's for sure. So there was a rumor that in Superman the dog was played as a human the whole time. Now, was that true, or was it like an actual dog on set, or was it like CG?
And this is what I see. Also, some pictures of my friends who were there longer than I was. I saw a like a stuffed dog. I saw that on set, and people, whenever it wasn't on camera, people would just like mess with it sometimes. And then I also saw a real dog. So I'm not sure. I mean, maybe there was like some kind of motion capture with a guy, maybe for crypto, but there was definitely um, a real dog on set at certain points. Maybe just for reference. I'm not sure. Um, as well as a stuffed crypto dog. But once like maybe next time when I do this, I can bring some actual pictures once I get the permission from my friends to use their pictures. But there was definitely a dog on set
Okay. Was it like
because
the same dog as what? Oh, Junior, you got a question?
Oh yeah. It's not really about Superman. How do you feel when I know you say you worked on the Ironheart, right? Um, how did you guys feel when it's review bombed and you guys did all the work on it, before it comes out, like as the background work, that's integral to it. But like, how do you guys feel about it?
it just depends on the project really. But it's always sad when people, uh, like you said, like review bomb something they haven't even really seen based off of some kind of preconception because there is regardless of if it turns out good or bad, there is a lot of hard work on set with like hundreds of people giving their time and their lives to create this art. Um, there's a lot of that exists, and just to have people just judge it before it even comes out, I think with any form of art is just it's disappointing. Um, but yeah, it's just disappointing, man. But I think the overall, like Ironheart, I'm not sure like a lot of us had um, that much hope for it. Like we didn't necessarily think it was going to be great. Like one of the best superhero properties ever adapted. Um, but me personally, I thought it wasn't. I, you know, I, you know,
Mm.
at the beginning it was kind of slow. in the beginning
Okay.
it's kind of slow, but the latter half, I actually got into it actually.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, I think Riri made some interesting choices, especially when it comes to Mephisto, because I mean, it was a crazy choice, but it was something it was interesting. The character did something wrong. You know, it's interesting.
It was
Either way, yeah,
interesting
it
because
is disappointing. Yeah,
that's a contentious point. Like, and since you're super close to it, like, there's a lot of rumors even right now, about how to go forward. Being that everything is being branded woke all the time. Man, what do you think about that?
yeah. Uh, that's hard. It just because there's definitely, especially with Disney, there was a big push for more inclusivity, more voices being heard from different people from different demographics, different cultures. Um, yeah, but I do think there's a fine line between trying to be inclusive and then you start to verge into the realm of being woke. And even the word, even that word is like the meaning of the word has been manipulated and shifted around and turned into politics so much. So it's I when I think woke, I think when something happens that tries to signal that something is about a certain religion or certain culture or gender, and they over exaggerate it. I would say that is probably woke. Like the scene in Ironheart, which I did not like, but I don't know. Where I forgot, I think he's a new character. Basically, Ironheart's love interest. When he came in, the first time he's introduced, he was like, "Hey, what's up, black people?" Like that whole, I hated that. I hated it because it's just like, "Hey, look, I'm black. All black people, you should like this. Isn't this great? Don't I sound black?" Um, I that kind of stuff is not okay with me. It's kind of corny. Um, yeah, but when you look at I mean that show had a lot of soul into it. It had a lot of soul, and I think it generally stayed true to the culture. It's just stuff, those little things like that where it's over exaggerated, where it's trying to tell the audience, "Hey, this is a black thing," or this is for Hispanic people, or this is for this community. Um, that's when it starts getting into like a kind of corny, kind of cringy, kind of around. But I do think uh, it's just an industry wide push for more inclusivity. And some people don't necessarily know how to do it, so they reach out to their friends who's a part of a certain culture. Their friend gives some advice. They take that and distill it down to its most basic form, and just push it out on people. But there's a lot of other art where they take the time to really understand the culture and listen to the nuance or as to why a certain culture does a certain thing, and they implement that very respectfully. So it just depends. It just depends. Um, and certainly, like in movies, you can have really good representation, and also really corny and disappointing representation. So I think it's a bit of both, and it's a bit of both in a lot of movies, especially today.
I can
But
definitely
Um,
agree with
yeah,
that.
I actually had
So,
a. Oh, no, go ahead, Ali.
cool, cool. I was gonna say, on the topic of wokeism, when it comes to comics and the live action version of those comics, most comics started off being woke, if that makes sense. Like they had a political or even a
yeah,
underlying theme.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's
Definitely.
weird to me that if people are actual fans of comics and their number one criticism of that comic is it's too political or is it's too this or it's too that, but that's how they started, especially when it comes to like X-Men.
Yeah,
X-Men was
I was
basically
gonna say
about the
that.
civil
Yeah,
rights
yeah.
movement. That's a huge
Civil rights.
series that
Yeah,
everybody likes.
So if I could just throw
But
my 2 cents onto that. So like you're not wrong that the older comics did have political backing and ideology. But the thing is it's different nowadays than it was back then. Back then there was actually like I'm trying to think of like political backing. There was actually like a narrative that they were really trying to get across to illustrate a point. Nowadays it's the problem with woke or what is woke nowadays. Oh fuck. The problem nowadays is that we'll take characters that either never existed and then amp them up because of a political ideology or political belief or just something like, for example, Battlefield 5. Right off the first thing I think of. I remember people gave them a lot of shit because one of the characters that they had, for those that don't know, Battlefield 5 was World War II. They had a female character who was missing an arm, so she had like that prosthetic claw kind of thing going on, and yet she's on the front lines fighting the Nazis. There's no military faction on the Eastern or Western Front who would have ever accepted a soldier who was missing an arm and just let her handle a rifle, no less. Then on top of that too, it was games like Saints Row added the ability to have like total prosthetics. That like again, just the kind of shit that you do just wouldn't be completely. Yeah, sure. I was gonna say South Park. Saints Row has always been in the realm of goofy, but it's a constant thing that we're constantly beaten over the head with. It's the same things, the same trope. It's the same at this point almost stereotypes. So at least back then it was creative, it was unique, it was something different. It wasn't something that was so explicit. You know what I mean? Back then, like talking about the civil rights movement, Marvel wasn't explicitly like beating you over the head with this. It was they were trying to explain the civil rights movement through superheroes, and I think that's what why a lot of people appreciated that. Nowadays, what we have is, hey, remember that argument about politics? Well, we're gonna beat you over the head with it 12 other times because we need you to remember that. We're gonna have characters that seem very similar to people in the real world that we hate. A game that I've used many times over, Dustborn. Literally, the director has said they made that game out of hatred for Trump. So it's if it's not them changing a character or overly uplifting characters or even just making a character just again it's constant stereotypes. It's either taking away from some characters or adding on a little too much. Even in some movies like Terminator, where we took away beloved characters like John Connor and replaced them with a character who's going to be basically a weak crybaby bitch the entire movie, and then at the end we're supposed to appreciate them as the new leader of the resistance. So I don't see old comic books as woke because they didn't do what we do nowadays.
Well, I'll say like those old comic books. Definitely, there was an opposite. Like the word woke didn't exist yet, but whatever pop culture word they used, there was definitely a large group of people who pushed back on, the civil rights stuff, the gender rights stuff, the sexuality rights stuff, especially in the X-Men comics. Um, you see Falcon, and you see Luke Cage, and you see Blade, and they're so popular. There was definitely they didn't have the word woke, but there was definitely a pushback.
Oh no, I'm
But
not.
I think with the advent of social media, it is the two sides are bigger and louder,
Yes.
and it's able to permeate throughout the culture a little bit more potently than back then. Because not everybody was into, comic books or, video games didn't even exist. So, yeah, I think it's very potent now, and it's everywhere and overexposed. Like when it comes to uh, people's political views. Uh, but I think like in that community, if you were into comics, there was, I've definitely heard the stories, but there was definitely a pushback with some of these characters because they're just just because of bigotry. Um, but I do get what you're saying. Like nowadays, that's what I was talking about. There's a fine line when it's about when you're trying to stay true to representation, and when you're honest, and you're talking about something that is true to a certain culture. And then there's also, there's this comic book. One of the characters was literally called Safe Space. And it
Yes, I
was,
remember that. And then there was also Snowflake too.
yeah, in Snowflake. I don't even you see that's the delusion. That's people that don't actually know anything about like the problems with a specific culture, what's going on. They just take what they hear on social media or on the news, and they're like, all right, this is popular now. I'm gonna write this down. I'm gonna draw this. I'm gonna put this guy in a pink leotard. Yeah, okay, yeah, they're gonna like that. Snowflake. All right. It doesn't make sense. It's not true to it's a slap in the face to that culture because all you're doing is just putting like a buzzword title on it and then expecting people to just buy your products and say, oh yeah, they're very enlightened. And it's not true. You gotta dig deeper. That's why I mean, this was retroactive, but that's why I was okay with Iceman. What is this? Bobby. What's his last name? Whatever. Iceman's last name. But Iceman from the comic books. He came out as gay in the comic books, and the way that they went about exploring his story, it was more nuanced. They talked about his actual relationships, and his relationships weren't perfect, and he was a human being. As opposed to just it's just the gobbledygook that's coming out of comic books, especially during the Me Too era. Lord have mercy. It was sad, really. And this is the point. It's just about, there's a fine line. There's a fine line.
So
Yeah.
to add on with that, like, so something I've always said, like, because like I said, Battlefield 5, they had to shove their bullshit into it. Even forgive me, Call of Duty Vanguard, they had to shove bullshit into it. I mean, hell, Vanguard was so off the ball that you had time traveling Soviets. Using Cold War era uniforms in World War II. You had German tanks that didn't exist yet. And my argument has always been too. It's like, okay, cool. If you want, like, especially in like a war game, like a World War II game, if you want inclusivity, abide by actual history, and you will have the inclusivity that you want. The Russians had the Night Witches, an all-female air force that was for the Russians. Here in the U.S., we had we had Japanese Americans who bonsai charged the Nazis to save fellow Americans. So the Tuskegee Airmen, an all black American Air Force. If you want inclusivity, there you go. Why make up history? Abide by it, and you'll have the stories that you want. Not only that, other games that, and personally, I mean, I guess if you want to call it a little bit of a bias, I'll admit that. But games that I love that I would say still abide by inclusivity. Metal Gear Solid is a perfect example of that. We have characters who are quietly or openly bisexual or gay. We have characters that male, female, it doesn't really matter. Ethnicity doesn't matter. And overall, you still love these characters for who they are because they're presented in a way that they're presented in a way where you should react to them the way they're meant to be. So if a character is blatantly evil, you're going to hate them because that's who they are. If there's a character that's just outright good or a doofus, you're going to end up loving them because that's, again, who they are. And like I said, in my opinion, I think it still hits that inclusivity without beating you over the head like, hey, you have to like this, or, we're going to make this character overpowered as fuck because of politics. No, it's just overall, everybody's on an even playing field, and there's kind of a set reason for everybody. Like, some characters are just blatantly evil, some characters are blatantly good, and it just goes on from there. And I think a lot of games and comic books have missed this mark, and they're just too focused on politics. It's just it consumes them at this point.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. There's so much.
I mean, shit, not for nothing, again, just because I was playing it recently, Metal Gear Solid 3. And this game originally came out in 2005, remade just recently, and you have to knock out a Soviet commander so that way you could steal his uniform to get through the base. And as you're, after knocking this guy out and taking his uniform, the guy's wearing I guess a male thong, if you want to call it that. I don't know at the time. And then you come to find out the reason why this guy has such a high rank in the military is because the main antagonist, Colonel Volgin, he thinks you're him. Dude walks up and literally grabs you by the balls. And that's immediately how he figures out that you're not him, because I guess you don't react the same way that his friend would. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was a goofy moment, but granted, you knew where the guy stood, and it wasn't preachy. It wasn't bullshit.
Maybe that was just his security way of testing him, because you never know, somebody could be a perfect copy.
The funny thing
Yeah.
is that moment does kind of reoccur in Metal Gear 2. You're sent in to go save the president, and when your character Raiden approaches the president literally runs up and grabs you by the balls, like, oh, okay, cool, you're not one of them. It's like, it's such a random moment. I'm like, oh my god, I was just sexually harassed by the president of the United States. All right. I was not expecting a hostage situation to go like this.
Hey, he had to check your validity. That's what happened. So, let's see here. Is there anything else you would like to? Okay. So I had a question for you. About Ironheart, because I believe you were there for the whole project, correct?
Yeah, I was second unit though, so that's like the action unit. It's not the story unit. It's
Okay.
all the stunts.
Okay, so you got see all the cool stuff then.
Yeah, I guess so. I would have rather been on the main unit to see the story stuff. I'm a story guy, but the all the explosions were cool too.
Okay. So, what would be your favorite part on the Ironheart project that you worked on?
Behind the scenes or the actual show?
Let's do both. Behind the scenes first, and then show second.
Man. Man. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. The most fun, and this might not seem fun, but it was kind of cool. The most fun I had was the White Castle stuff, because that
Are you
whole
talking about the fight scene?
no, well, this is why I said it might not sound cool. It was cool to me because that they built an entire White Castle, like in an empty lot in the middle of Atlanta.
When you say White Castle, you mean like the White Castle restaurant, or like a genuine
Yeah,
White Castle?
the restaurant. If you guys seen the show, right? Everybody?
Yeah,
Or
it was like the fight scene where they fight in the restaurant, right?
yeah, they built like a 1-for-1 scale White Castle in the middle of Atlanta. And
That
it
is
was
crazy.
just really cool to see like what movies can do. And we had people all night like just coming up like, hey, you got a White Castle in Georgia now, man, that's crazy, and trying to get in, and then they had to get escorted out the whole night, and he had people just watching. And then I guess there was that fight scene, and that was that was cool. Yeah, but that was the most fun. I think just generally being on set with just good people, and this crazy thing that a production spent money on, just built an entire set, entire White Castle. It was just crazy. Man, I mean, I'm forgetting like what else happened in Ironheart, man. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, that secret base was cool. The one with what is his name?
The hood.
The guy that plays Obadiah's son.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah. That's dope.
what is his name? I forgot his name.
He played Han Solo.
Yeah.
Eckerson. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, this was like this was just the this second unit is the action unit, and for me, it's not that exhilarating because I really want to know what's going on with the characters, and the whole time I was just seeing bits and pieces of the story, but not really seeing the whole. So I couldn't really, I couldn't, I wasn't really into it because I didn't know why. Uh, I didn't know why Obadiah Singh's son was punching Riri to the ground while she was stuck inside her armor. I didn't know why. Um, so it was cool to see. It was just I would have liked to have more context, but yeah, but it was those. I think the sets were really the biggest things that was the coolest to me. Oh, you know what? Yeah, you know what? No, the layer, the secret layer, the bad guy layer.
Okay.
Yeah, that was. I know this doesn't sound cool. It was cool because all that wasn't a real building. That was all in the same stage. They built that entire pizza restaurant, whatever that was, um, their entire hangout. All that was they built that, and it doesn't exist anymore. They tore it down.
No.
Um,
Wait, so they built it and then tore it. That's crazy.
yeah, they built that like that whole restaurant in the kitchen. Yeah, that all that is not real. Actually, I was in a shot in that pizza restaurant eating pizza with another background actor because they needed extra people, so they threw me in there, and I was on camera, but they cut the shot, so I'm not in the actual shot, which is disappointing. It's really disappointing because I was right there. I was right there in the middle of the shot. It was me. The shot was about me. And I was like, man, it's about to be so dope when this come out. But that happens all the time, man. I don't know how many shows like I was supposed to be in, like I shot something for, and then they cut it out, and it's just devastating, really.
Okay. Okay. Like final edits. Okay. Mm.
Yeah, because I was okay. This is adjacent. This is not superhero or anything. This is going back to They Clone Tyrone. If you remember the movie, at the very end, John Boyega's character sees his clone on TV, right? And then there's another character right next to him, like he has his homies around him. They watch TV, and he's like shocked because his homie next to him is like, "Hey, cuz, ain't that you?" That was supposed to be me. And that whole day, I was basically being groomed the whole day. It was like, hey man, what kind of cereal you like? Okay. I was like, oh yeah, why you guys asking me that? They said, yeah, we think since everybody else been used, they're gonna put you in the scene at the very end, and you're gonna have a line. And I was like, oh, that's great. And the whole day they hacking me up. They telling me how to use a California accent, that type of accent. I was like, yeah. And then we finally get to shoot the scene. They take like two of the other guys into the set, and I'm still outside of the set. I was like, okay, they just setting everybody up. They just setting everything up. And then, and I'm watching the screen because they have a screen where you can see what the camera's seeing. So I'm looking at it. I was like, all right, I might be right there. Okay, good. Then I look over, Joel, the director. I see him. He just got a fresh cut. He got lined up. He had a wardrobe change. I was like, what's going on with Joel? Joel walks into the set, sits where I was supposed to sit, and then I hear, okay, rolling. And then and that was it. And then Joel took my line. But it should have been Joel. It should be Joel because that's the director. But it just broke my heart. It just really broke my heart because that was supposed to be me. Everybody was gassing me up the whole day. I'm thinking I'm about to be famous. I'm gonna have a line in this dope movie, and then he just took it, and nobody told me anything. And then I went
That's
home and I cried. I cried on my way home. I can say that, it's okay. But that happened to me all the time. Uh, like a lot of sense, a shocking amount of sense.
yeah. But you mean you still mad because you made almost everything happen that we actually see. Theatrical cut and TV television wise too. So thank you for what you did.
Anyway, that was a tangent. Anyway, Keep going. I'm sorry. I'm still mad about it. Keep going.
Yeah.
Mike, did you have any questions for him?
Um, hmm. I don't know if anybody answered this, but what was your favorite behind the scenes shoot that you did with Superman?
It was my favorite, like what we did.
Mm-hmm. That you participated in.
I think the coolest stuff was um, at the time. I didn't get the script, so I didn't know what was going on. I just knew a more advanced force was fighting a weaker force. So when they were saying Superman, 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 I'm thinking Superman is actually going to show up, and I'm going to see David Cornsweet.
Mm.
But you guys saw it. So actually, what happened was Mission Terrific and Green Lantern showed up, and Hawk Girl showed up, which was dope, man. It was just cool
Oh,
to see. It was cool to see Mission Terrific live action on the like right in front of me, and it was also cool to see Guy Gardner Green Lantern. It, Nathan Fillion was an interesting choice, but you know, um, I think he did a great job.
yeah.
I
I
think he did a
mean,
great job.
I could see it only because like he did so much work of and he animated behind the scenes where he did the voice acting. So I see why they chose him. I mean, he was a
Yeah,
good
Nathan
choice.
Fillion. Yeah, he played Hal Jordan in one of the Justice League animated
Mm.
things. But anyway, yeah, it was really cool to see like them in action and in costume. You know, is really sick. It's just really cool as a comic book fan. And I couldn't see the effects, but I knew exactly what it was going to look like. And I saw the movie, and you know that scene where guys like just walking. He's just walking, then he waves his hand, and in the background we see the green construct of his hand just flip a tank. I knew it was. I knew exact. I knew it was going to be that. I knew it was going to do that, and it was really cool to see. Um, yeah, I think it was just a lot of energy. Everybody had such, and this doesn't happen on every set, but everybody had such um, kind of respect for the process. You know, there's a lot of folks that get really jaded, or they've been doing it for so long, so they don't put in all the effort. But that one, everybody was like fully there, having fun, and just doing a good job and putting their entire heart into it, and it was really fun. Uh, yeah, I really like the Green Lantern Corps, so it was just cool to see a actual good Green Lantern on screen.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
this is the only Green Lantern that ever existed. Any other Green Lantern, live action Green Lantern that people say existed in 2011, I don't think that's real. I don't even know what that is. This is
Yeah.
the only one for me.
I'm just
In the
gonna
new
say,
TV.
when it comes to Superman, I still prefer
Yeah.
Robot Chicken's answer for his origin. That being he only ended up on Earth because of a messy divorce.
Oh,
That's crazy.
If
yeah.
you've seen that clip,
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen.
oh my god. Listen, son, I'm sorry to tell you this, but Krypton's perfectly fine. You could take the house, you could take the car, but you ain't getting the fucking baby.
It's Flavor French man. That's what they said. That is
Oh
hilarious.
man, that's crazy.
Oh man.
Yeah, but it's
Do we
really
want to roll forward with the gaming or?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Caleb, do you have any final words that you'd like to say about your experience with the film industry?
yeah. What do you mean? Like, just yeah, go watch movies in theaters. What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, my
Oh, good.
experience in the film industry.
Oh, just like
Anything? Any
any
final
final
thoughts,
thoughts?
comments, concerns?
Yeah. If you're working on a
Well,
project right now, you want to give it a shout out, anything.
yeah. I'll save my projects for later once they're a little further along. But I don't know. I guess industry wide. I guess if I have a concern, uh, I don't know if you guys know, but there's like an industry wide push where movies are like leaving America and shooting overseas in Europe, and it's really hurting the film industry as a whole. Well, the American film industry, Europe is doing great. Um, yeah, so I would say just support the movies, guys. I don't know. Just say that you want your movies made in America,
Yeah,
so we can get these jobs back, man. This is
I
wild right
understand.
now. It's the Wild West right now.
Fair enough. Yeah, I did go over I think it was an article that was talking about how I think it was either Marvel or I think it was Marvel that left out
Yeah,
of
Marvel.
Georgia
Yeah,
and went to
yeah,
Europe.
yeah. They were huge. They were huge down here. Huge. You couldn't go a year without several Marvel movies shooting at the same time. But now there's nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing. It's gone. It's all gone.
And I was wondering what's going to happen to SCAD because SCAD is like the film school down here in Georgia where they like have campuses all over the place, especially in Savannah area. Like I was wondering if that's going to affect them because I know a lot of those students work on different projects throughout the year. So
Yeah, it won't affect them while they're still in school, but once they graduate, it's really gonna hit them because usually those students are able to there's more connections with SCAD in Georgia to get like straight onto a set, but they'll feel it once they graduate. When they're still in school, they're gonna be having a good time because they're gonna be in a bubble. But once they get into the real industry, it's gonna be very scary, very fast.
gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I had a question.
Sure.
For everybody for the court. Who, which Superman do you guys prefer, Henry Cavill or David Cornsweet?
I think I kind of like Henry
So that
more, personally.
so that was Man of Steel
Yeah.
or the new Superman, correct?
Yeah.
Right, right.
Um,
Oh,
I mean, it's kind of hard because I think for suit wise, I think I still prefer Henry Cavill's, but for I think actual Superman, oof, I'm gonna go with David because I just see Henry Cavill. He's such a good actor, but he just almost fits in everything down there. But David Cornswell, I can barely see anybody playing Superman now.
Okay, okay.
I would give it to David Corswell as well. Like
Yeah,
Henry Cavill was the action Superman. Like his action scenes were more believable, but when it came to um, the actual persona of the character, I thought David played it a little bit better. The actual like
yeah,
what do you call it, Boy Scout version of him.
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I believe that as well because it definitely wasn't portrayed by Henry Cavill. Not very well, anyways. Especially in that one scene. Stop. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Well,
yeah, true.
more than that, like, yeah, like I do like the toughness of Man of Steel, but yeah, I do feel like David Cornsweet is Superman. Like I walked away from the theater saying, okay, he's Superman.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. David Corns for Superman. He was a take on Superman that was very wholesome, that was very just a good person, just for the sake of being good. And I think that that was kind of the point. Um, and I think that's closer to Superman's roots, whereas Zack Snyder likes to deconstruct, the superhero mythos. And I learned that when he was younger, I don't know if he still is, but he was I think it's called a Christian Scientist, and they believe in objectivism, and they believe that, and that's basically like everything, like your moral purpose is to yourself and to pursue your own self-interest, objectivism. And so, and that kind of reflected um, in Superman, and he was in Superman. He's supposed to be like basically Jesus, because there's that scene where Superman goes to the church, and he's basically saying, I don't know if humanity is worthy of me sacrificing, my life for them. And eventually the preacher convinces him that, yeah, humanity, we're worth it. And so it was really about, like, Zack Snyder's Superman, Henry Cavill Superman. It was really about a Superman who really didn't want to be Superman. He didn't want to. He kind of sad. He was kind of melancholy the whole time. Which I get, like, the first movie. If he's like that in the beginning of the movie, he's sad. His father's telling him, "No, don't be Superman. You need to decide what's good for you and what you want to do. Don't do it for humanity, because quite frankly, son, humanity is not worth it." It was kind of what his dad was. Pa Kent was telling him. He kept saying to him, "Don't reveal yourself. Humanity's not ready." And I'm not even sure humanity's going to be ready, because we're just like terrible people. So you need to really think about what you want to do, son. And that's what he was saying. Like, that was his whole message, the whole movie. So really, when he's deciding to be Superman, it was a sacrifice, like how Jesus sacrificed himself for humanity. Is the allegory? It was kind of hand-fisted, but and it was just a very different take on Superman. But he made you sad. Regardless of the dope score by Hans Zimmer, the best Superman score in my opinion, the best. Nobody can it's the best. It's the, but regardless of that score, he every time he's on screen, just made you either feel scared of Superman, or he's just sad, because he's just so sad. He hardly smiled, And I know they weren't able to get their second movie off the ground, but yeah, I think we needed a Superman who went back to his roots and was just wholesome. And he was a guy, like, the point of his parents, where they weren't necessarily community leaders. They weren't philosophers. They didn't have different ideas about the world. They were just good people who raised a good boy and a child to be a good person and to value human life. And that's it's just refreshing, I think. Because I personally don't mind the grittiness of the Zack Snyder universe. It's just the story was the part that was lacking for me.
Yeah, the dark nature of once he well, the tone of the movie, once it got there, it did kind of was kind of different, for me. Watching, Henry Cavill portray the role of Superman, but it was very much action packed, and that was what I still kind of liked, especially with the fight scenes with Zod.
Like, it was so dope. I loved. I mean, that was my favorite superhero movie back in 2013 when it came out. Man, I bought the Blu-ray. Like, I watched it every single day because the action was so good. The biggest flaw in that movie, and I think people would have liked it better. The two biggest flaws, I think, well, maybe three, but have Superman. He can be sad in the beginning, but then become that, like, hopeful, joyful Superman that we know towards the end. Also, maybe, I mean, I don't care that he killed Zod. I think it made sense. I think it should have been a little bit bigger, not just one family. I think Zod should have been straight up, like, he like a bigger situation, basically, like a bigger group of people, not just like one small family. That's that's one thing. Um, and I think Superman, while he was fighting Zod, I think he should have been saving people at the same time. And I think that would have, I think people wouldn't have been as upset with the movie as they were. Because this Superman, he's just flying through buildings. Presumably, he flew through people. I'm assuming because they're fully occupied. The city's not empty, you know. So
Yeah, with the buildings and construction. Yeah,
they're flying through people. They don't show it, but like those buildings are empty, man. But if we saw Henry Cavill saving, like not just people looking up to the sky and then seeing him in slow motion looking down upon humanity, you know, in slow motion, and it's very grand. He's like a god to them. Not just that, but him actually going down physically saving people. I think people it would have been received a little bit, but and that's something that James Gunn fully corrected. Even like he went to the extreme. The man saved a squirrel in the middle of fighting a kaiju. The Superman saved a squirrel.
yeah.
He went all the way. So yeah, I really like Henry Cavill, but yeah, David Cornswell. I think this Superman better embodies the idea of Superman than Henry Cavill did. And you know, in Mark Me, I predict, that in the future there's going to be uh, like the Justice League is going to go inside of a different dimension or something, and they're going to see a different version of the Justice League, and we're going to see Henry Cavill as Injustice Superman, and I'm just saying we're going to see Henry Cavill as Injustice Superman. Mark my words. I guarantee it. If they don't do it, it's a missed opportunity. But that would be sick.
Actually, that'd be pretty
That
awesome.
is bold claim.
I
Yeah.
I, I think I mean like it just makes so much sense because the post-apocalyptic thing is already in the DCEU, like what they were trying to do but never got to do, and
Yeah.
so that they can just easily fold that into oh yeah, Superman just became Injustice Superman, and that's how it happened.
Yeah, you
So
could definitely. I did kind of like hear reports of maybe him coming back, but maybe as a different role. So maybe that's sooner rather than later. I hope he does come back though. You know, Henry Cavill.
yeah, and that's all I got to say. I just want to see what you guys thought of it, which Superman was better. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
All right. So following the format, we're doing DMG first. So Mike, take it off. Start it off.
All right. So first news we have with DC is that there seems to be a lot of Easter eggs that being the Clayface movie as they're as that's what probably currently speaking. You know, doing shooting the set right now for the Clayface movie. They they finally started. I think this is the first week. I think they're starting the reshoots. So yeah, the filming stage is now starting. And with the first set of news we have for Clayface that's been spotted was so far the movie that is with the Easter egg of the Modoff building. That is, mentioning Sheldon Modoff, who is if you don't know, the co-creator of the Clayface. And he plays like some of the major tributes that was with DC as well, not only with Clayface but for other characters as well. Yeah, so
Okay.
being with Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, Batmite, Batwoman, and Batgirl. That's being Betty Kane, as well as Ace the Bat Hound. I really like that. I really like Bat Hound. Yeah, I like
Better
Ace. I
knowledge.
like it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this is live action, correct?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
live action. They were basically just portraying a building called the Schmodoff. Yeah, Modoff building, and it was that a shout out to Sheldon Modoff, the co-creator of Clayface himself.
Yeah, I literally just saw this on my phone, like before I started the podcast. I just saw this. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I didn't know they were that close to production. I know they were doing it. I didn't know. I
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah,
they
yeah.
were.
I mean, it shocked me too for the first week. It's doing the filming. So next news we have Supergirl may come sooner rather than later, as they did. There was a schedule update revealing that it may soon come out May 29th, but so far we're still waiting on confirmation if that's really true or not. Which sooner is good. So I'd rather see this happen May 29th of next
Yeah,
year.
Lobo. That's what I want to see. Live action Lobo, man, that's gonna be dope.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
so
yeah,
Lobo's supposed to be there too?
Yeah,
yeah.
Jason Momoa, man. He
Oh yeah.
texted James Gunn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he texted James Gunn once James Gunn took over DC. It was like he said something like around the lines of like Lobo, and then James Gunn said, "We'll see," and he's Lobo.
But that's
Yeah,
Somebody.
yeah.
crazy though, because isn't he also Aquaman?
No,
Well, the
well
other
that yeah,
universe.
that universe is gone. So
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah. And then what
yeah,
was crazy enough is that this deal kind of happened almost the end of DCU. So
yeah.
it's kind of like that was like
He
one
was
of James Gunn's prequel moves was that, hey, let's
yeah,
get you a Lobo, which I thought that was a blessing for Jason Momoa. 'Cause,
perfect.
wow.
He was born to play. He was born to play.
Oh yeah, he's a fantastic actor, so I think he'll definitely crush it as Lobo. But
Isn't Clayface just a strange choice to do? Like, because I know James Gunn is doing the Gods and Monsters chapter of the DCU,
yeah, from the very first chapters.
but
Hmm.
it's just I know he has a rule where if the script's not ready, they're not doing it, and Clayface wasn't a part of the plan, but the script was ready and it was really good, so he went ahead with it, which is a good ideology to go by for a company, but man, it's just a strange like Clayface.
I mean,
Like,
I think that's why you picked them, the most. Get the underrated characters out there, and then kind of build the universe around the other popular heroes, which we have soon coming out. That being Supergirl, Green Lantern, and then Wonder Woman. But yeah, I think he's one of the most. I say, and I kind of agreed. Unpopular character, but known character as far as the DC universe.
I just man, what is that script? What is it about? Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, no, you're fine, you're fine. Yeah, next news that going into the game universe. Phil Lamar is returning as John Stewart as Green Lantern, but of course, for the upcoming game Injustice 3. Which I think he kind of did good. I like his voice acting in the storyline for Injustice in the Justice video game. But hopefully, some of the other returning cast is coming back because I really did like the whole voice acting during that whole story.
Yeah. Phil Lamar played John Stewart in the animated show, didn't he?
Say again.
Phil Lamar, he played John Stewart in the animated show, didn't he? Back in the 2000s,
Um,
Justice
it,
League
it
Unlimited.
was him and somebody else because I
Oh,
remember the yeah, you're talking about like going from like 2000s. I can't remember
yeah,
his name.
yeah.
Yeah, he played John. Well, yeah, he played God, what's his name? Yeah, John Stewart as well. And what else? Yes, next news we have that being a current sort of an update for the Static Shock live action coming into the DCU, but of course traditionally it is of course on by milestone. So James Gunn is working hard to kind of break that into fruition, but who knows what the share of that deal is going to be. So probably similar to Sony in the Marvel universe, but hopefully they get a more real, good relationship and that making pushing that forward to actually coming on hopefully a TV show because I really want to see a TV show versus a live action movie.
Okay.
Mm.
Ah, yeah, TV show. Okay.
Yeah, because I definitely think he deserves a TV show just so we can more understand the character more.
Yeah.
So we have, of course, another good artist who has left us. Sad to say that legend being Todd. Yeah, Mort Todd. That was, of course, not only DC Comics but also helped with Marvel Comics as well. Rest in peace. He died at the age of 63, which passed away around August 24. So rest in peace to him. Definitely did lots of great works as far as the DC and Marvel universe, well, in the comics wise.
So he was an illustrator, like he did the drawings, or
Yeah, he did the drawings and as far as like some of the animations as well from the DC, well, more of the DC comics as well. But for Marvel, it was more smaller projects. Yeah, and so good. Shout out and rest in peace to him. Anybody else got some DC things to talk about before we move on? All right. So, did you want to go touch on the anime, or did you want me to touch on of course, the Dragon Con, Mike? Um. Okay, so I guess I'll touch on a little bit of the anime, and I'll touch on a little bit of my experience with Dragon Con that did certainly pass. First off, we're starting off with the anime news. That being Ultraman manga set to resume next year during spring. I know. I think the chapter it last cut off was chapter 149, which wasn't a good long hiatus, but it is set to come back soon and to resume on the final arc that is again on spring of next year. Next year. And you guys big Ultraman fans?
I don't think I really followed the series, to be honest with you. I've seen the title, but I've never actually dove into it.
I know what Ultraman is. Funny enough, when I went to Anime NYC, the reason why I got in was because a buddy of mine actually has the rights to do illustrations for Ultraman.
Oh wow. Oh
Nice.
wow.
Yeah, he
Did you
got in
manage to
there
get
as an exhibitor to sell T-shirts and shit.
oh, manage to get one of them, the t-shirts?
No, I mean I didn't know Ultraman, so I was like, I know what it is. I'm just not like it's not my thing. So I'm like, okay, it's cool.
Oh man.
Honestly, I didn't buy anything when I was there. I just the fucking food was way too expensive. A small little box of chicken was like $20. I was like, man, I wasn't even full. It was like a snack for $20.
That's how they
Oh wow.
get
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. There's like these
Oh
fucking
wow.
assholes shooting at me right now. Fuck.
Okay, I know. Next anime news, but swords have been into the gaming world of that being Sword Art Online Variant Showdown will officially shut down its servers October 30th.
you.
Yeah,
Ooh.
October 30th next month. That
That was
being
a video
Pacific.
game.
Yeah, the video game Sword Art Online Variant Showdown.
They made a video game. I didn't know that.
Oh, they've made
That's
several.
scary.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah,
Yeah,
several.
yeah,
So
they are milking that
Anybody get
series
stuck?
dry.
Anybody? People that got stuck?
Not yet.
Not
Not
yet.
yet. I mean, the hours they put in probably, but not actually physically.
yeah. Yeah, so they are officially shutting down the servers. Again, like I said, is October 30th. I think they put Pacifically around 1 p.m., hopefully, around our Pacific time. But the silver lining with that is that the developers are releasing much more of like an offline edition so that you don't kind of lose all the data that you grinded for. So I thought that was a good thing that they started to do. So yeah, all online events pretty much are shutting down. I know they had a few of them. But again, it is officially shutting down. And the version that's coming up is, the 3.0 update, which will basically show just the offline features that being a unlimited dungeon and the global scout. And of course, the credits from all the creators that made the online content as well. I don't know. This was a long running game. I know some fans are upset about that. Yeah. So next news, we have some criticism, that being about the Sekiro No Defeat anime, that is basically fans a lot of being criticizing them, a lot of AI work being done to the studio, which they have confirmed in the hearing that there is no generative AI, and this is all hand drawn animation and through long hours put into the studio. So they are adamant about no, this is real live animation work, and there is no AI involved, which I think there's probably no shame in it. I mean, what do you guys prefer now these days? More hand drawn animation, or just the work of AI being more sufficient?
It depends on what it is. In my opinion, I think if you're going to use AI to correct blemishes, that's fine if you want to use it as like a tool. But I think AI is dangerous as it will end up replacing a lot of people. And for the sake of, honestly, just for the sake of the economy alone, I think it would be probably wise to only use it as an assistive tool.
Agreed.
Um,
Agreed. 100% agree.
I would say, um, again, I believe June said this before. Um, I think right now we do have a lot of choices to watch for anime, and when it comes to the bigger studios who have multiple projects, and the reason why we can't see that show that we want to see is because they're swamped, and there's not enough creators or animators in the industry to actually push that content out. So it would be nice for a solution like for the lesser known show to be used, like somebody AI produce that the art or the animation for that, and then the show that everybody wants to see, that show can be worked on by the main group of the studio. So like, I mean, I think that could be a use for it as well, where the like I said, the lesser known or the show that people really aren't really looking for or checking for, those could be because like we have the situation with solo leveling, where solo leveling we probably won't see solo leveling until uh 2028 or 2029 for the next season of solo leveling, because the studio is so swamped with projects that they won't be able to actually push it out until 2029. So now we have this huge craze for solo leveling season 1, season 2, where you had this big following, and basically it was breaking records, and it had this full steam ahead. You have this momentum, and now you have to put that momentum on hold or hiatus for 4 years. It's basically like Black Clover. Black Clover, when it came out, a lot of people were like, "Oh man, this is like one of the next big three." Black Clover's been sitting on hiatus for like 4 or 5 or for like 3 to 4 years now. So like all the momentum and all the hype that it had, it significantly died down. So that I believe that hurts the studio, because they talk about how when it comes to funding for a project, you get, for the most part, when they first start, what they used to get, and it's like the industry standard, is you get like one lump sum, and you don't get anything additional. Now, Crunchyroll has been trying to change that a little bit, where you still get that initial payment for the show, but then they also see your impact on the streaming site and how many people watch, and basically like the viewership. And if you basically help out, or if you kill it, basically you get a percentage with that too. So then it gives the studios a incentive to actually create better content, more engaging content. But I think that with this, if that AI was more, I would say, prevalent when it came to these side fluffy shows that nobody really actually are going to care about in the next like season of anime or even the next year or two, I think those should be AI based. While the ones that are like the actual attention grabbers and the um, viral animes, those should actually be worked upon. That's just my opinion. I don't know if anybody can disagree with that or agree
So
with that.
I get where you're going with that, but I do feel like, because you gotta remember too, these companies, you give them an inch, they'll take a fucking yard. I think if you, oh yeah, it's fine if you do it on the smaller anime, but then what happens when they start using that as an excuse and start expanding? Oh well, this big anime, we need a lot more work, so we're gonna start using more anime, and then they start, more AI, and then they start pushing out more and more actors and more workers, and then eventually, before you know it, now it's becoming almost a standard that it's AI based, and we have now people out of work because again we gave these companies that inch for them to take advantage. Um, I have little to no trust or faith in companies. I think again, if given the opportunity, they will fuck us and their workers over in a heartbeat. Uh, Me and June, our line of work is a fucking living example of that. So I'm a firm believer that you can't give these companies any kind of inch. In the end of the day, I get it. There are things that we want these companies to do for us. We want shows to come out, but I think that is still in the end of the day something that we have to be cautious with, no matter what. Because in the end of the day, if we let companies get away with whatever the fuck they want to do, it's going to end up only hurting the workers.
Yeah, it's
And I
dangerous.
definitely see that point too.
Yeah, like any company, but like movies, video games, like the people making the really big money decisions. These are guys who they do not care about the actual property. They can care less. All they care about is when they get up in the morning, they go to work, they sit down at their big board meeting, and they get a spreadsheet full of numbers. All they care about are the numbers. And so, if the trends is telling them that people are starting to accept more artificial intelligence, like they watch this little show, so we can that's going to start creeping into the bigger shows, and eventually we're not going to be able to tell the difference, or even worse, as a society, care. We'll stop caring that our art is being made by actual human beings. Because once we remove humanity and the human condition from our art and our entertainment, uh, they're really, for me at least, and I think really they're really like, what's the point? It's just content at that point. There's no truth. There's no human being trying to convey an idea and trying to convey a thought, which is what stories are supposed to be. Which is or even with video games too. Even a lot of video games are becoming a lot more cinematic. But I'm just saying, like once we start removing the human element, these guys, they're so it's so these people are deluded. All they care about is, and it's hard to like really picture this group of people, but they really do not care about human beings. If they can figure out a way to make things automated, like with artificial intelligence, they will 100% like they will kill the industry in terms of having like jobs for actual human beings, and they will make everything AI. They don't care about the moral implications. It will quickly, as soon as we as a whole, as a species, start accepting AI as okay for most of our entertainment, like it's gonna go away. It will go away in favor of cheaper labor, because all they need to do is just hire a guy that knows how to make good prompts, and you know what I'm saying, like, and a couple other engineers, and you're good. So it's a slippery slope, and I feel like we're almost there, because artificial general intelligence is here.
Yeah, I definitely think that, again, going into what you said, these companies, these CEOs, they're soulless, they're heartless, they don't give a rat's ass. They could care less about their workers. And again, personally have seen it from just working in retail. These companies don't care. They care about the bottom line. They care about their dollars. Which it's, of course, for any successful business, they have to care about, finances, of course. But it's to a point where you, as an employee, are simply a number to them, and that's all there is to it. If we can replace you to make it cheaper, we will. That's just how they are. Um,
Mhm.
and that's why I think AI is going to end up killing retail. First of all, I think at some point, at least in the sales portion of it, because like jobs like um, Verizon, GameStop, you don't really need to go to a store anymore. Fucking tanks just spawned in out of fucking nowhere. Fuck my life. Anyway, uh, yeah, these companies will. Long story short, they're gonna find a way to fuck us. That's basically it in a nutshell.
We as
Yeah.
people have to decide what the line is and what we will accept. The problem is just getting everybody on the same page.
Yeah.
That's yeah,
Yeah.
because there's certainly people who are fully embracing not just AI as a tool, but AI as a replacement for art, and
And
that's dangerous, man.
yeah, we
Because
can't we
it's
can't do that because the way I say it, look, we have a wrench. It's great for certain purposes, but it doesn't work for everything. That's how AI should be. It's a tool to work when we need it as an assistive measure, nothing more.
Yeah. Going off of like the human element that you guys were talking about, um, I don't know if you guys know Terrence Carson. He was the first voice actor for Kratos in God of War.
oh yeah, that guy. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
basically, people were like, they asked him a question during like a panel, and they were like, "Hey man, where did you get that voice from for Kratos?" And basically, what he said was during that time of that period of his life, he had a lot of anger, and he had a lot of frustrations, and he was going through something in his life. And basically, he was saying that those studio sessions where he was doing the voice acting of Kratos, those were all like real emotional moments where he was basically like venting, and he was saying that it was almost like therapeutic for him. So like he was getting all of his anger out through those sessions, and like he was like at the end of the session, I'll walk out happy, singing, whistling. I just got everything that was on my chest off my chest, but through the actual script. So like that like you said, that human element does actually, it is a thing that I believe should be protected when it comes to uh, the art, and also like the, how should I say it, the production of the show. But at the same time, I do believe that some of these, like the smaller, I still think that if we did have the implementation of AI, it would help get some of the fluffy animes that nobody actually really cared about out of the way.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's okay to wait. Like it's okay to wait for an anime.
Yeah,
It's
but
okay to
four to
wait. I
five
mean, even
years,
if it's years, okay. I mean,
four to
like as
five
long
years
as
is
yeah,
that's
that is a long time. That is egregious. I
Yeah,
do agree.
yeah,
That is
it
crazy.
is.
It's
Yeah.
insane. But like as long as it's keeping human jobs, human creativity, human spirit and blood and creativity and experience and anger and rage and sadness, joy. As long as we keep that in our art, like it has to take 5 years, which it shouldn't. Which it shouldn't. Then it takes 5 years. I don't know. That's just me though. But like
Yeah.
we just wait for
Yeah,
episode
because I
five.
do believe that the animators they're the ones that kind of drive everything home. With the story and all, with all the work hours they did, especially with uh what was that studio with they created with Gege Kutami made with Jujutsu Kaisen. What was that studio? Uh,
like
it
Kodakawa.
basically say again.
Is it Kodakawa? Wait, you said Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah. The studio that made the animations, they, what they leaked the long hours, and the time and dedication. with that whole season that they made with the last season that just passed, that whole fight scenes that they do is, I mean, all of that was team collaboration. I don't want anime. I don't want AI taking over that at all. Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. Doesn't that make it so much better? Like like somebody toiled over this for months, and they put their whole heart into it, and it just makes it so much better. Like it just blows your mind. Like, how did a human being do this? How did somebody perfect their craft so well that they made something so beautiful and so perfect when we're such imperfect beings? That's man, that thing, that feeling is important. I feel like that feeling, like, man, look what humanity can do, bro. Like, look at this. This is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the studio is Mappa.
Mappa, there you go. Yeah. 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 Again, that's I don't want that being replaced. I don't. I mean, that's why I say, of course, take the time. I think we just need to, just sit and wait, have faith. That's all we can do.
Yeah, I think I agree too. Like I don't know if anybody remembers the Akira, the movie, like the old movie back in like it was like the 80s,
Class.
maybe 90s. It was like a classic anime movie, and the first, I think it was like the first 5 minutes of the movie has been like critically acclaimed as like some of the best animation that has been produced. And I think it stood the test of time for like, I think like the past like what 5. I think like it lasted for 10 years for like one of the best animation sequences for like that first 5 minutes.
Mhm.
And it's crazy because I'm pretty sure that first 5 minutes took forever. Because after that, because you gotta think about it. Because after that, like they had to like finish production, and you could tell like the animation just drops after that first 5 minutes.
Mm.
So like they had to like basically like rush the rest of it because they couldn't put too much into like the animation when it came to like the rest of the movie, or else that movie probably would have took like what 10 years to make, maybe, because it was what like almost like an hour and a half movie, and that first 5 minutes alone was just like pure peak for that time period. Like it darn near looked like it was like real.
Yeah, that whole that movie, it's a slower movie. It's a really, really slow burn. If you're not actually paying attention, like you might it's a slow burn. It's a really slow burn. I think most of it. Uh, I don't know if it was on purpose. Maybe it was. Maybe it's because of animation costs. But yeah, I think they really saved uh, saved the like the real ingenuity for the action scenes, especially the portions where like he starts expanding and his skin is bubbling and he starts turning into this monster. And he's, you know what I'm saying? Like I think all the money was really spent on that rather than just like the quiet character moments.
I could see that.
Yeah, I feel like even like with most anime, like well, not most anime, but well, like Naruto, for example, for you're watching an episode and all of a sudden the animation changes, the adult fight scene is about to come up, like something like that. Like they save the money for the moments that they know they need it.
That makes sense.
Mm.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, a little bit of news. Well, one final news before I get to my highlight of Dragon Con. It seems that Gege, as we were just talked about it, Gege Akutami is creating another and manga that is soon to drop September 8th, titled Mimo Juro. Yeah, I think it's called Mimo. Yeah, Mimo Juro. It is going to be, of course, featured on Weekly Shonen Jump, and it is going to be, yeah, dropping in September 8th. So far, then, there are no topics on it yet, and Yeah, and next probably Thursday podcast, I will definitely hop on this because it does interest me in a way, because I am sure interested on this. The title is Mojoro, and it is dropped to and it's set to drop September 8th. So uh, that being said, I will show my screen briefly just to show a little bit of highlights I had in Dragon Con. Let me see here. And
Oh,
so
you
far,
went?
yeah. It was pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing, man.
Oh, wait. So you're in Georgia?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, sick. Okay, me too.
Yeah. Let's see here. What I'm about to show you is basically more being in the guest panels and on the panels of kind of doing Q&As of certain stars that were on the former TV universe of DC and of Marvel. So I will show one of them. Let's see here. Yeah, so going from right to left, here you can see here that is Colin Donald. Don't want to butcher the name. Yeah, that did that featured on the show of Arrow and that played the character of Tommy. Next to him is David Ramsey, who we know as John Diggle, who should have been John Stewart from the very get-go, in my opinion.
It's true. Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. Next to him is Brandon Ruth, as you know as the Atom. And next to him is Emily Bent Richards. And next to her is like the speaker that does announces all the Q&As for the stars to answer. And I'll let you guys play it and, of course, get some thoughts and opinions on it.
Where are you, Jenny? Here he comes. Yeah.
So, in Arrowverse or other DC-related things, Brandon, were there any stunts that you advocated to do yourself?
Oh, Emily responded almost immediately. She said, yeah.
Well, I mean, Felicity wasn't, I would say, top tier stunt executor on the show by any means. But we crashed through some windows, we jumped through some elevator shafts, she hit somebody over the back of the head with an awesome gun, things like that. So anything that Felicity could do that could have my face near it without getting blown up, I was pro. Then again, I was 20. So, different story.
Advocate. I mean, I'm sure that nothing sticks out in my. Oh, sword fighting. I guess that it did. Oh, but that wasn't in Arrow. But it's Arrowverse. In Legends of Tomorrow, I definitely wanted to do that stuff. I really had. But all the fighting stuff, I've done enough fighting in my life. Like it's fun, but when you're in an Atom suit, it's harder. So I was okay to share the load sometimes.
Yeah.
When it's the fisticuffs.
Yeah. Nope. There was nothing that I was like, oh man, I gotta do that. No.
That's the smartest person up here.
There was a stunt guy, Marshall Bingham, who was an incredible stunt guy. And there was an incident in one of the episodes of Arrow where Diggle was jumping off of an overpass, a literal freeway overpass, landing on a car, rolls off and shoots, pow pow, right? Really a lot of action. Anyway, there's a rig where the stunt guys there's a pulley system, right? They jump off and there's a pulley, and so they kind of almost float down, but they don't really float down, obviously. It broke, right? 32 feet in the air. Right? He falls, misses the car, right? Hits the ground. It sounds wet a little bit when he hits the ground. Rolls and just lays there. Everyone runs over to him, right? Like, oh my God, what happened? This man had barely a sprained ankle. Barely. Wow. Like, that's how tough these guys are. So, no. I will not be volunteering for any stunts. But the stunt team on Arrow and all these shows are just top notch. Top notch, really. Cool. How about you, Colin? You had any?
Tommy didn't do a lot of stunts. First day of shooting for the pilot. I think this is probably the toughest stunt that I had to do on the show. I laid on a wet pallet for about 2-3 hours.
That's a long time.
Yeah, my hands were behind my back. I was achy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, we have questions.
Okay. Thoughts?
That is crazy that the guy dropped 30 feet and only got a sprained ankle. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I said, man, that guy's lucky. Too lucky.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, too lucky. Let's see here. I had another one.
I'd say that anyway, since we're here talking about Arrow, it would be this lovely lady who was always fantastic to work with. Was there for my read that I did with did a chemistry read for the producers. Yeah. Remember that over at Warner Brothers, yeah. And that was awesome.
Where was that?
It was at the NBC, used to be the NBC offices.
Yeah.
The writers were.
Cool.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. I got the job. Thank you. What's the question about? Oh, and then on Legends, I mean, would have been for the most time that we were on it. Nick, Sano, Nate, our bromance was true, and it was just fun as we were becoming friends through season 2 and season 3, and then the show continued to lighten, and we just did silly stuff to make each other laugh on set, and then see if it makes it into the cut. And a lot of times it did, and it made a lot of fun. It helped continue to create that friendship.
Awesome. David, how about you? Most chemistry.
Probably Steve and Emily. I mean, that was kind of that was really it. Yeah.
I mean, we were just together all the time, like.
We were together all the time.
All the time.
But you know something? Here's the funny thing.
How do you feel about
I got a story about. No, it felt great. I'm being an asshole. But it's funny. Steven. It was funny. Okay. It's like after 10 years, how many stories do you have, right? It's like yeah. We were in the pilot of the show, and Steven was like, oh man, I love your work in Dexter, blah blah, and the way we were talking, I got the impression that he felt like I was a very serious actor, and I was like, no, dude, I'm funny as shit, right? So, to prove this to him, we had a scene, right? And we're at a table, much like this. And it's the Queen table, and I'm his driver. In fact, I'm Black Driver, which is my code name. Anyway, so we're at the table, and Stephen, being the golden child, was at the head of the table back there, and I'm behind him. And Maura Queen is there, and some other people, Behrman's there, and so the door's over there. I'm about to drive him out, and the scene goes. I whisper into his ear and I say, "Mr. Queen, your car's ready, right?" He gets up and leaves, right? So, okay. So now the camera's facing him. It's his coverage. Reach down into his ear and I say, "Mr. Queen, I have the biggest balls you've ever seen." Camera's right on Stephen Amell, and he just goes white, just white, and just cannot hold it. All right, so that was the icebreaker for me and him, and ever since then, it was just mad laughter on the set every single time we got together. And then when Emily came, it just continued, you know. And then when
I got thoughts.
Big John Stewart, man.
Oh, go ahead.
What'd you say?
I said sometimes you gotta break the ice.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Do you guys know? Oh,
No, go ahead.
but they shot a whole Batgirl movie.
Oh yeah, didn't
Batgirl.
they shoot a whole thing for Batgirl and then they end up canning it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they shot. Yeah, they shot the whole movie.
Mm.
Brendan Fraser was playing Firefly, um, and I forgot who was playing Batgirl. Anyway, they shot the whole movie. It was it's done, and then WB merged with Discovery, I think, and then there was the change in leadership, and they decided to scrap the whole movie for a tax write-off. And
Yeah, I heard about
I
that.
and I say, and I worked on Bad Boys. I was the background production assistant on Bad Boys, but the directors, were the directors of that movie, and they and they and there's something that happened on Bad Boys that almost like really put Bad Boys in jeopardy because of one of the directors. Um, and why was I doing? Why was I saying this?
Now,
I was saying this.
you said
Oh
something put them in jeopardy. Is that something you could talk about, or something more that we have to kind of?
no, I don't think I should.
Gotcha.
If I ever see you guys in person, I'll tell you. But yeah, I said on the topic of canceled like shows, the John Stewart show, that they were, or something like, they teased him as Green Lantern, the guy that plays Diggle. It's just crazy. It just didn't happen, and I think it was because of that shakeup at Warner Brothers. They had a bunch of shakeups, like
They had a lot of creativity, I think, behind the scenes, and I think between the budget, the redirection with CW, I think that was just what was the biggest hiccup, and of course the creative differences, good old creative differences. So yeah, I think those were the three elements that really kind of shot everything, basically anything that could be, as far as a spinoff, basically just poof.
Yeah, it's just sad because that Green Lantern show could have been cool, and also that Batgirl movie could have been. I mean, they shot the movie, man. Just release it. Well, I don't think
Unless for
they.
some
I
reason they
don't
didn't
think
think it was
they.
going to make enough money, so the tax write-off seemed more profitable.
I think they just simply wanted the tax write-off for more money.
Yeah,
That
they would
was
say for that
that
because I
was
think around that
yeah.
COVID time as well. So
Oh yeah. I think it was more lucrative for the producers or the studio to just can it than to release it during COVID.
mm,
I think that was, yeah. I think that might have been it.
yeah, because a
Um,
lot of companies was losing a lot of money.
mhm.
But other than that, I still have more footage. But tune in for Thursday's podcast, and I will release the rest of it. So, with that being said, I'll pass it off. Here's your go, Nick. I believe.
All right. So, now due to all of the censorship out in the United Kingdom, Steam is now requiring identification for you to use your Steam account. Uh, so there's been a bit of a controversy with that. So, for the most part, Steam uses credit cards as a form of verification. But now they want ID. Some people are saying, well, you can't get a credit card without ID, so one would think that credit card would be still valid. Then again, in my line of work, I've dealt with plenty of fraud, so what's to say that a kid isn't stealing their parents' credit card in the first place? But yeah, so now Steam is requiring both ID and credit card before they'll let you purchase anything M-rated. Going forward with that, Silent Hill F is being reported as a game that is good, so long as you don't compare it to Silent Hill 2. So, me personally, if I think a game should be able to stand on its own merit, but if it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, this game is good, but it kind of sucks for this, that, and the third reason, it doesn't really give me much hope personally. Other than that, Google is currently preparing for counter-hacking as the United States is reconsidering its stance on cyber defense and aiming to go more offensive than defensive. so far, your thoughts?
Man, I think they're the ones doing the hacking themselves.
I mean, I'm waiting for Google Gemini to turn into Skynet because let's face it, if anybody's going to do it, it's either going to be them or Tesla.
Nah, I think it's Gemini. More resources.
Yeah.
More
Yeah, I can
resources.
see Apple doing it too. Cause you got Siri for Apple.
Yeah, but I don't really see Siri like that. Like, granted, if I think of AI, I think more of Gemini or ChatGPT. I don't really see Siri to be a growing threat, honestly.
I think Siri would be the hidden child no one actually looked for, and then turns out that's the bad, it's the worst of
Yeah,
all.
yeah, no, that would be my luck. That would it's like, yeah, no, it's fine, and then that's the one that kills me. Yeah, figures.
Now, I don't want to gloss over the fact that now you actually have to show an ID, like your driver's license, just to get a game.
Yep. At least out in the
Yeah.
UK specifically.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no. So
I
a
still
lot of
think-
the ID censorship shit that's going on right now is predominantly the United Kingdom. They are trying to implement shit like that here in the States, but there are those within the government that are actively fighting against it. So, will it come to the States? I don't know. I can't say for certain because, granted, it's gonna be it's gonna be one of those situations of it either will or it won't. So we will see going forward, but at present time, I can't really say what's gonna happen here. But this is all out in the UK at the moment.
Gotcha. I still think it's crazy.
Oh, it is.
Like, just monitor your kids. Like, you can easily put in the safeguards for your kids when they're searching on different devices. And the fact that you can't take 5 minutes out of that and the rest of the world has to suffer because, or the other people have to suffer because of that. Because, like, we already have, like you said, hacking. There are already people stealing information, like trying to, like, giving somebody your driver's license too. Like, what else could be done in your name? And like, they could pass off a fake ID to a cop with your credentials on it.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And not for nothing, the whole thing because in the end of the day, everything we keep hearing is it's got it's that line of, oh, won't someone think of the children? Well, you know what? Who should be thinking about the goddamn children? Their fucking parents. Again, using as an example, the line I used to get all the time at GameStop was, oh, well, his cousins play it, his friends play it, so why can't he? Okay, cool. Well, if they all decide to jump off a fucking bridge or step in front of a train, you're gonna let your kid do that too, right?
Yeah, so once you hit them with the more critical, provocative questions, that's when they start to think for the first time.
But anyway, continuing on. Star Wars Outlaws is aimed to get a Switch 2 release. However, currently isn't looking good as Ubisoft hasn't really shown anything for the game running on Switch hardware. So, yeah, I'm honestly, Star Wars Outlaws already on release ran like a fucking toaster. It was already garbage to begin with. The AI was retarded. So they could barely get it to work on PlayStation and Xbox as well as PC. If this is probably telling that it's going to be hot garbage on Switch, honestly. But continuing on with Switch 2, CD Projekt Red is reporting that 75% of Cyberpunk sales on the Switch were all physical copies. So unlike Nintendo doing the kind of bull that they did, where their cartridges had like just a digital code on it, Cyberpunk actually has the game on the cartridge itself. And CD Projekt Red is saying that they're happy that they didn't reconsider that idea simply for the fact that this is proof people want to own their games. Which I'm very much a heavy proponent of. I believe firmly that if you pay for it, you own it. It's as simple as that. Honestly, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I agree. The fact that they can take it away from you at any point does not make any sense. Like, I can understand limiting your online access where you can't interact with other players, but to purchase a game for like 50, 60, $100, and then one day the owner or the company that produces say, "Oh, well, we don't like you," or "We don't like the fact that you said something against us, and now you can't play this game ever again."
Oh, not even just that.
first of
if
all,
they end up losing the license for a song, now you lose the game just because they decide, yeah, we can't sell it anymore. So sucks to be you. You could have absolutely nothing to do with it, and that still fucks you over.
I want my refund. That's what I want.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. A lot of people don't realize that when you purchase digital merchandise or even set up any of these accounts, Xbox, PlayStation, iOS, it doesn't matter. Terms and conditions usually indicate that you are only purchasing a license to use software. You are not owning it. So if for any reason this company wants to or needs to remove your ownership of it, they can just say, sorry, sucks to be you, bye. Not yours anymore. And without a
100%.
refund too.
Because that's one thing that I don't like about. So I decided to purchase a few like movie titles, and they were through the Xbox on the digital side. I'm thinking these are downloaded to my system. So like when we had I think it was like a storm, or no, somebody ran into the power line or like one of the lines, and it knocked the internet out for a while. So I'm sitting here with no internet for a little bit because the crew has to basically come out and put the internet back up. And I'm thinking, oh, well, I have these movies that I just recently purchased. I could watch those now because they're downloaded onto my system. Even though they're downloaded, or they said that they downloaded onto my system, because I don't have the online access to the server, I still can't watch it.
Oh yeah, exactly, because it can't validate that you're actually in ownership because it has to call home.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me. Like, I purchased this. I technically I thought that I owned it, but for some reason I still can't watch it.
Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, just to
like
give a little bit more perspective to kind of emphasize on what you're saying, the game Postal 3, even though it was a dumpster fire of a game and nobody really misses it, one aspect of that game was that when you went to launch it, on launch it would want to phone home to servers in order to validate whether or not you genuinely own the copy. When those servers went offline, anybody who had the game just couldn't play it because the servers were offline. So that was it. Even though it was a single-player game that had nothing to do with the internet, because the D.A.M needed to be able to connect to a server, once those servers went down, that was it. Your game was shot.
Didn't that happen to another game that was popular?
Probably. I couldn't tell you offhand by title, but yeah, that's likely.
Okay.
But granted, though, Running with Scissors did retake back their the rights to that game, and they did correct it, so now players can go ahead and play Postal 3. Not that anybody really particularly wants to. Again, the game was kind of shit to begin with. But the fact that it's back and that the original company took it back over, it's still a good thing. Anyway, going on, Mario Kart World is actually being outsold by its predecessor, Mario Kart 8. So go figure, despite all of Nintendo's shitty business practices, their older game is still selling better than their newer game. Which, honestly, I think Nintendo needs a foot in the ass, but anyway, that's just me. Resident Evil 9 is said to have a third-person and first-person perspective modes because of the fact that they felt that there were fans that couldn't handle Resident Evil 7's first-person mode. So they're giving players options, which I don't mind it. It's the first person and third person doesn't really take away anything, so I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to give us an option like that. Gamers are blamed for the Minneapolis shooting as of recent, despite the fact that research into violent video games has no real long-term research. So they're still using that as an excuse as to why this horrible event occurred in the first place. So once again, gamers are the fault.
Also, no bad parenting. And
Yeah, it's the parents.
no bad parenting. Just blaming on the video games that we all know and love.
Nope, it's always the video game. Not for nothing. Like, here's the thing. On one hand, our games were different back then. Yeah, granted, we had GTA 3 that we were playing in San Andreas. But I'm sorry, when we saw titties, we saw pixel titties, okay? It wasn't the same thing. When we saw blood, it was more of like Crayola being smeared all over the place. It looked like shit. The games nowadays look a hell of a lot better. I mean, look at the crazy shit that I'm playing right now. So, but again, it still comes down to it's still the parents' fault. Um, I am a firm believer that violent video game, any kind of violence in the real world because of kids or anybody doing from violent video games, I don't think it's the video game itself. I think it's competitive nature. I think when you have a child in a mature video game up against adult players, and granted, I think even as an adult, when you're playing an M-rated game and you got a kid in your lobby, I think it's just natural instinct to want to piss the kid off because they don't belong there. You know that for a fact. Many times in VR games, if I had an opportunity to piss off a kid, it was fucking amazing. Like the one game Onward, playing in VR. I had this one kid join our lobby, and granted, again, I don't want to play with fucking kids, so all right, gonna irritate the shit out of the kid now. Um, I try to just mess with him. I'm like, hey, let me show you how gun safety works. Remember, don't look down the barrel of the other guy's gun. I pulled the trigger, shot him in the face right before the match started. He comes back and he's like, hey, can you not shoot me? Oh, no, don't worry about it. But oh, by the way, can you hold this for me? And I pull a pin on a frag grenade and drop it in front of him. But I think when you have to deal with when a kid has to deal with adults like me that are gonna screw with them just because it's funny, and then you hear the mom in the background being like, "Why can't you be nice?" Well, why does your kid have to play an M-rated game? But just saying. I think when you put a kid in that environment, that ultimately, especially too if they're cursing at other kids and it's just overall becoming a toxic environment for these kids, it's increasing their aggression. I had a mom back at GameStop who was telling me how she used to let her kid play Fortnite, and just because of the fact that he was playing online with other people, she used to hear him yelling and screaming at people. And at one point, he would start yelling at her, and she was like, she kind of started putting two and two together, and was like, "All right, cool, you're not playing Fortnite anymore. Like, enough is enough." So she cut him off completely because of his behavior. So I'm firmly in the belief it's not the video game necessarily. It's for one, bad parenting. It's the fact in the matter that you, as a parent, are permitting your child to just behave like a little asshole. But it's also the fact in the matter that I'm having a brain fart. But it's also the fact in the matter that they're online with adults and they're just effectively going buck wild, not really learning from anything. So yeah, I don't blame violent video games. I blame shitty parents and kids who shouldn't be on these games in the first place. I think another angle, too, is that some parents parent in a way where they see their kids as their best friend, and that is a problem in and of itself. So, I mean, there was an incident I was watching recently, body cam footage. A couple of kids got arrested. They were 11 to 13. They had stolen a number of vehicles, driven into a number of stores, including pizzerias, in order to rob them with the stolen vehicles. And the reason why they got arrested, of all things, is because they thought it'd be funny to drive into a bicyclist, and they end up killing him. And,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the thing is that these kids, they also had illegal firearms. They had stolen guns. And when you saw the parents, the way the parents were reacting to the kids, the parents were like, "Oh, don't worry, we stand behind you completely. We know you did nothing wrong." When in fact they had camera footage of the kids doing this. One kid's mom referred to her saying, best friend, and it's like, no, that's the problem. The reason why your kid's acting like a little asshole is because you let them grow up with too many hugs. You coddled them, and now they get away with murder, literally. And I think that goes.
Too many hugs is crazy work.
I'm sorry?
I said the too many hugs is crazy work. Now, I get what you're saying, but I just thought that was funny. That's all.
But I'm right. That's this day and age. These kids are coddled. They most definitely are. But anyway, continuing on. I'm sorry?
The kids, I feel like parents aren't. They're letting technology or systems parent their children, like system maybe like a like school.
Oh yeah.
Or technology like television. Instead of taking the time to make sure that their child has the emotional intelligence to understand what's real and what's not, what's okay and what's not okay to do. And then when the parents are themselves confronted with a child's emotional experience, they don't take the time to teach them. Um, they make excuses for the child, or they try to make them feel like whatever they did that was wrong is justified. They coddle them
Yes.
essentially, yeah, like you said, yeah.
Yeah, they coddle them. And on top of that too, something my old boss used to say was, when these parents buy these video games and whatnot for their kids, they're not buying it out of love. They think they are, but it's not. They're suppressing their children. Because at the end of the day, what's the easiest thing when your kid's bugging you for attention? Here, Timmy, here's an iPad.
Yeah, that's not parenting. Technology.
They think they're loving their kid because, oh, all of his friends have it, but in the end of the day, you're not paying enough attention. You're not really parenting. You're just this isn't your kid. This is your pet, basically. It's like the dog. Here's your food. Have a nice day. I'll take you out for a walk later when you need to poop.
It's convenient and it's easy.
Exactly. It's convenience.
But
It's almost
parenting
like
is
a
made to be
pacifier.
hard. It's hard. What you say, Dexter? What you say?
Oh, it's almost like a pacifier. Like it's like a
Oh yeah.
pacifier for like the older kids, because like you have your kids who are
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, because like they act out, or they're getting into your personal time. So in order to allow you to relax, you put something in front of them so that now they are occupied. Now they're not agitated. They're not getting into your space. They are pacified in this state of consuming content. So, and again, it's just spend some more time with the kids. That's all you gotta do.
Absolutely.
There.
But anyway, continuing on. Bungie is actually offering players $500 to play test their game Marathon. The game originally did do a beta test, and it fell flat on its face so bad that they pulled it for a while to develop it further. I don't know how it's looking as of now, but they're willing to pay people $500 to play test it. So, yeah, I don't know how to really take that from Bungie. I mean, like I said, their first run at it was hot garbage. From my understanding of it, it is another like hero shooter. And in my opinion, I think that hero shooters are now getting to this point where they're kind of a dime a dozen. They're very copy and paste of each other, and it's just. I think it's a reminder that a lot of these companies are losing their creativity. I mean, it's kind of sad to think that the company Bungie that started Halo, that basically like Halo was one of those games that you couldn't beat, and PlayStation did their damnedest to try to kill it. I mean, Killzone was supposed to be the Halo killer, and it failed miserably to do that. It was a good game, but it certainly was no Halo killer. What ended up killing Halo was Halo. Yeah. Oh, that and Paramount. I believe Paramount. Yeah, Paramount killed it too. When literally the original writers reach out to you over social media and say, "Why did you ruin our series? Why didn't you just ask us for help?" You know you fucked up. But yeah, what do you guys think about that? Bungie is now paying uh, people to play test their game.
Now, is that anybody, or do you like have to like register, and do they have like you have to have like a social following,
I
or
believe
is it
you just
just
have to
like
register. I
whenever you
don't
hang
think
it?
social following has anything to do with it.
That's crazy. Now, do they like? How should I say this? Do they monitor your play? Because like I'm pretty sure they want you to give them feedback. That's
So
probably like a part of the stipulation.
So I don't know the specifics of how the whole program works, but I have done play testing in the past, and generally what they'll do, I'm assuming Bungie's going to do the same thing. Being that this is a play test, likelihood is what they're going to end up doing. Um, they'll probably have you sign an NDA saying that you can't speak on the game, or there's specific things you can't say. Because I had to do the same thing. The game Contagion Outbreak for VR. I play tested, and Monochrome, the developers, they had me sign an NDA that I wouldn't show the beta footage, so, or at least without permission. Um, so I have a bunch of old beta footage of that game that's just kind of dormant because, again, NDA. So likelihood is Bungie will probably do the same thing.
Fair enough. Okay.
But anyway, at present, there was a Bioshock sequel and a remake that had been reported. However, both are supposedly canceled by 2K. So those are just no longer in the works, though the sequel may still come out at some point in the near future. But the way it's looking at the moment, probably not. Those are probably just burned. And last thing I got for you guys tonight. Well, two more things. So for the games convention, they deleted an entire stream. Get this, over a 20-minute segment for just one game, Migrant Simulator. And the entire 20-minute segment about this game was literally them just explaining like how we got to the modern migrant and talking about the Oregon Trail, and it basically was this whole TED talk and had nothing to do with the game. Like I was watching a clip of this, and once this lady is done talking about migrants, she immediately goes into, "Oh, cool, we're gonna show the video now. Oh wait, never mind. That was the whole 20 minutes. Okay, we're not showing the game anymore." Apparently, this game got so much backlash that Gamescom deleted the entire stream just because of this one game.
Migrant Simulator?
I'm sorry?
You're saying a migrant simulator?
Migrant, yes, like immigrant, migrant simulator, yes.
Yeah,
so,
but what?
From my understanding, it's supposed to be basically people are calling it a propaganda game, that it's meant to show the perspective of somebody who's an illegal migrant crossing the border. That's what this game is supposed to be.
Okay.
Well,
Like, I'm not sure if it should be a video game though, but
yeah, and I don't like, honestly, again, going back to it, I see this as another Dustborn. I think this is going to be a game that's going to be preachy as fuck. It's going to drive politics down our throats, and it's going to yeah. I don't see this game getting very far. I think it's going to release, and people are going to laugh at it and pretend like it doesn't exist.
is that what it's called though? Migrant Simulator?
From my understanding, it was literally called Migrant Simulator. From my understanding.
Jeez, guys.
Yeah, we're running out of creativity in this day and age.
My God.
they thought, hey, ICE is going crazy. We might as well do it too.
We might as well go all in.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
But anyway, last thing to report on. So, I've been playing the Metal Gear Solid remake as of late, as I've said, and one of the things that I picked up on, which was really fucking cool. So back in 2005 when the game first released on the PS2, the developers had kind of an Easter egg where when Snake gets captured, if you decide to save the game after the whole torture scene, when he's in his cell, if you save, paramedic will talk to Snake about Dracula. However, it ends up giving him a nightmare. So if you quit the game at that point and then reload the game, immediately the game loads up in this like black and white setting. You're no longer Snake. You're actually some dude with these blades, and you're fighting these just monsters. If you die or time out, so if you take too long, the sequence ends and Snake wakes up basically in a panic from the nightmare. So recently, for the remake, I ended up in a very similar scenario during one of my last streams where I got the same dialogue about Dracula. So I was like, what are the fucking chances that come next stream when I launch, I'm going to have that fucking game mode? Sure enough, I relaunch, and they totally ground up remade that entire game mode. And now it's like it looks a lot more like Bloodborne. Like, it's fleshed out. It wasn't just like a little goof thing. Like, it was actually something fleshed out. So, for starters, apparently it was called the Guy Fury, right? And apparently what it was originally a scrapped game that Konami was working on, but they ended up scrapping it, and they just used it as like a little gimmick thing inside of Metal Gear. Later re-releases of Metal Gear Solid 3 got rid of the Guy Fury Easter egg, the nightmare. So what ended up happening was, now this new one, they brought it back. What I found to be really interesting, though, was that, and this is how I figured out. So when you're streaming games, right, I use Streamlabs, it has to grab onto a specific program, much like what I'm doing with OBS right now with Forever Winter, it's grabbing both Discord and this game specifically. However, if a new .exe were to launch, it wouldn't grab that exe. It would only grab what I have it selected to, right? So during the stream, when I got the nightmare to trigger, none of my viewers could see it. I figured out that for some reason, when the nightmare triggers, the game actually triggers a separate executable program. So the nightmare is its own game inside of Metal Gear itself. So it's basically two separate executable files that are in the game. So I ended up having to tweak my stream a little bit to get it to work right. But yeah, so it's a weird, but for some reason they don't have it baked in as part of the actual game itself. It's just like a separate thing.
So would that be considered like an Easter egg for Metal Gear?
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely an Easter egg. Now, I don't know if this is supposed to be a I don't know if this is something that Konami is working on. Like, I don't know if this is going to be its whole new thing. Like, if this is going to be a new property that they're going to be making. I don't know. Originally, it was a scrapped idea, so it's possible it could be a thing, but I have no idea, personally. But it was, at the very least, an Easter egg. But, gentlemen, with that said, that is all the news I got for you in terms of gaming. Any comments, questions, concerns?
I believe they've been all fleshed out.
Fantastic. All right. Well, moving on.
Alrighty, I do have a little bit of news for anime. Let's see. They're saying that Boruto wasn't the actual good sequel for Naruto, or like a legacy, or it didn't set the same tone, or it didn't have the same feels as Naruto. But they are saying that a new show that just recently came out, uh, Gachi Yakuta, is more in line with that Naruto theme. Basically, they're saying that both have monsters in them, and when Naruto went for the road of peace and recognition, the main character in Gachiakuta went for revenge. So it's the same premise of a child born with the monster, but instead of him trying to aspire to be like the Hokage, he's aspiring to get revenge on everybody that basically treated him like dirt. So it's basically like the what if version of Naruto if Naruto decided to um, basically be like an Akatsuki rather than try to be the um, Hokage. And they're saying that the power system is kind of similar, where it's simple, and you can also have it be very creative with it. So I haven't seen the show yet, but after hearing the explanation of how they liken it to like the OG Naruto, I just might give it a chance. What are you guys' thoughts?
So is there like a remake, or is it just like the same? Was it just a different story altogether with this
It's
new
a
Naruto
different story
animation?
altogether. Different story altogether, different universe, different power system.
I'll have to check myself, but I did hear about it and thought it was interesting that they decided to remake the story. So, and I guess kind of touch on Nagachi Akuta. Yeah, that's. I don't think it's nowhere near similar because at least I can understand from like both the characters struggle wise. I can see that, but nah, I just think the lore itself is way too off, in my opinion.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna
then
give it a
the other
fact.
news that I had for anime was uh, basically they just did a update on Netflix where a lot of titles from One Piece will be leaving. Basically, there's just a lot of content for One Piece. So and they have been on the platform for a while. So if you want to see those titles, you should watch them before they leave one Netflix. But at the same time, they are offered on different other streaming services. So if you do have those streaming services, you can still watch it. But as for Netflix, they are starting to get rid of some of the access uh, content from One Piece. Basically, like the older stuff where it's not new or up to date. It's more of like the older stuff.
Mm. So that includes all the movies as well that came out.
Not all the movies. I believe most of the movies are getting taken away, and then also the episode of Skypiea. So like the condensed version of Skypiea is getting taken away as well.
Okay.
All right, and with that, that is my anime news. And Nick, would you like to wrap us up, or Mike, would you like to?
I guess I was waiting on Ace later, but yeah. So that pretty much wraps up this damn podcast. Make sure you follow us on all social platforms. That is X that damn podcast on Instagram, damn podcast on YouTube, D.A.M podcast, and that damn podcast on TikTok as well. And before we exit out, let's give an exit to our co-host.
June, you muted?
Mm. Yes, he going.
Well, he was AC Slater. I am Nick Mal. Technical difficulties. TECH-NICKAL. If you are looking to check out the Metal Gear Solid series, I am streaming the entirety of it with my friends as well as myself. I'm over on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Discord, so check me out.
Hey, Caleb, if you have any farewell or last comments, go ahead and give us something real quick.
Thank you for thank you for bringing me on. I am this is a good time. This is a lot of fun talking about this nerdy stuff here, guys. I love it. I don't really have this outlet all the time, so it's really cool. I appreciate you guys having me. Yeah, uh, just go watch some more movies, y'all. Watch more movies. Pay your tickets. Watch more movies. Have a good time.
Of course.
Oh yeah, we appreciate you coming on too.
Yeah, definitely.
And once I get permission from my friends to use their pictures, next time I'm on this, I'll have like actual behind the scenes stuff to show you guys.
All right, cool. We look forward to it.
Yeah.
And guys, my name is Ali Alibaba. Again, I'm here for the games, anime, and Marvel. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.